Everybody, you're back with Text My Ex. I'm Esmarie, and today I have another easy drink for you to make, or try rather. People tell me with my long blonde wavy hair, especially when I'm at the pool or at the beach, they think that I look like a surfer girl, which never surfed in my life. This one is called Surfer on Acid. Also never did that in my life. But I figured it would be fun to try. The ingredients, a little iffy in my opinion because I'm not a fan of Jaeger, but let's do it. You need a shaker with some ice, a cup full of ice, which you guys know I love my little pineapple cup that I have. Rose gold is my favorite color, and pineapples I love, so I got that. I have some Jaeger, some Malibu, and some pineapple juice. So it's gonna be equal parts of all three, so I'm just gonna do an ounce of each, which is a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're gonna strain it over our ice. That is the ugliest fucking color. So I feel like I should add more pineapple juice, but cheers. Listen, I'm not hating it actually. It's not bad. I don't really know how you would describe the taste, but because of the Jaeger, I don't wanna say it's got like a creamy consistency, but like I guess a thicker consistency, a little bit. But the flavors balance out pretty well. I feel like this is something maybe you could give a guy, like if he wants like a mixed drink, but he don't want all that fruity foo-foo shit. I'm shocked. I'm pleasantly surprised. So go ahead and give it a try. Tell me what you think, and let's get to our next text. So today is a special episode because it is the first advice episode that we're gonna do. I have a couple advice questions that were sent in, so I'm gonna do my very best to answer them and give you what I think would be sound advice. Apologies for the long question, but if you've gone through something similar, I could really use some words of encouragement. I left my boyfriend last December after discovering he was unfaithful. At the time, I didn't know the extent of his infidelity. I only knew that he had been talking to a woman on Snapchat for at least 3 months. I never was able to see the conversation, only that they had a snap streak. He claims they never did anything physical and were online friends, but his story changed constantly. First, it was that he had met her at work, then met her on a dating app, then they had only met once, but nothing happened, etc. I came to the realization after 2 days of absolute agony that I was never going to know the full truth, and decided that regardless of the truth, I could not be with someone who betrayed my trust. We were living together at the time after a move out of state for his job. I packed up in a matter of days, got an apartment for a few months, sorted out my life, and got a new job in a new city. During this time, I was contacted by a woman who he began dating less than a week after I moved out. She told me a lot of horrific details of how many women he was sleeping with, likely the entire time that we were together. The entire ordeal took an enormous toll on me, as I have never been cheated on before, to my knowledge. I had every self-hating and self-blaming thought, an absurd amount of self-doubt, etc., until I finally started to come to terms that it's not my fault. I still feel like a complete idiot that it was going on right under my nose with zero clue, but I was dealing with it, or so I thought. Fast forward 2 months ago, I decided to take the plunge to try dating again in my new city. Went out with a guy who has just swept me off my feet. He's kind, intelligent, well-educated, great job, stable, basically everything I could want in a partner. He has listened when I have talked about my past trauma. We have a lot in common in terms of future goals. He has expressed interest in seeing what we could be long-term and asked me to be his girlfriend. I enjoy being with him and he makes me happy, but the amount of anxiety that I have on a day-to-day basis about the relationship is through the roof. And he is definitely starting to pick up on this, and I think it's starting to hurt him. I worry constantly with thoughts like, will I be able to fall in love again? What is he doing when he's not with me? What if he breaks up with me? What if I don't ever trust someone again? What if he's cheating right under my nose like my ex? How do I trust my gut after that? How could I ever move in with someone again and risk losing everything? It makes me feel sick how much I worry about this. He has tried to be very patient, kind, and understanding. I am scared I am reaching the end of the rope. Have you gone through a similar situation, or do you have some light at the end of the tunnel type of encouragement? Whew. All right, so here is my advice on that one. I think we've all kind of been through some sort of betrayal, some sort of cheating, lying, you know, someone let us down, right? Because I can't say that everyone's been cheated on, but I can say that everyone has experienced at least some sort of betrayal in the past, right? I always have a saying, I say that you cannot take your past out on your future. That's number one. Me personally, I've always just given someone a fresh slate. I don't allow my brain to think of, well, what if they're doing this? What if they're doing that? Because I feel as though, you know what, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, regardless if I stress about it or not. If someone really, really wants to do this to you, they're going to find a way. So no matter how much you think about it or worry about it, it's gonna happen. On the flip side, if someone cares about you enough, there's nothing that's gonna make them even want to cheat or betray you in that way. So there's no point in stressing. But obviously that's easier said than done, to have that kind of mindset when you're just still hanging on to the trauma of like what actually happened, right? What is very common, so I'm not, you know, harping on you for this, but a lot of people try to move on when they're not fully healed. And I do think that part of the problem might have been that you jumped into the dating scene before you were truly healed from that past situation. You know, everybody's journey is different. So some people need to take that time and be by themselves to heal before they jump into another dating situation. But then some people, they take some time, they think they're healed, they start to date, and then they realize they're not. And then with the person that they end up meeting, if they're a good person, they end up helping them and helping them heal and helping them put their heart back together, which is totally fine. You know, I've actually had that happen before. I've had someone help me put my heart back together, and I'll forever be grateful for that person, even though it didn't work out, right? But, big but, tough love. It is nobody's responsibility to fix you. It's nobody's responsibility to help you heal, right? So if you choose to go date before you're healed, then it is your responsibility to fight those demons on your own and not allow it to affect the other person, because they didn't do those things to you. So therefore, it's up to you to start to notice the signs, notice you're having a problem, and take the proper steps to heal. Whether that's therapy, whether that's reading books, whether that's meditating, whether that's getting closer to whatever, you know, religious thing you might believe in, spiritually, whatever the case may be, right? Picking up a healthy hobby, maybe going to the gym, or whatever the case may be, right? That's your job. It sounds to me like you have a great guy, and it sounds like you might be close to losing him if you don't get a grip on yourself, because you decided to put yourself in this position. Nobody else did that, right? So since you're here and you got a great guy, you know, do the work. Do the work so that you can thank yourself later. Now, on the flip side of things, when it comes to this ex, respectfully, fuck that dude, okay? Because if you consistently worry about what could happen with this new guy, you're allowing that ex to live rent-free in your head. You're allowing him to have that that control over you. You know what I mean? And what's to say that this isn't your good karma? This great guy, right? So if you wake up every day and you say, you know what? Who cares what he did to me? This ain't him, and you know what? I deserve a good man, and look at this good man that was put into my life after such a shitty situation, and just embrace each good moment day by day. Like, you're gonna have those times, right? You're gonna have those times where you need a moment, or you have a day where, you know what, you're 20%, you're not 100%, and you are remembering some of those things that happen, and you are getting triggered, right? And that's fine. Take a day and say, you know what, babe, I'm having kind of a rough day, and I think I need to be by myself for a little bit, and then do whatever it is that you're doing that helps you work through that healing process. Not saying that your partner that you're with now can't help you with that, but you just want to make sure that that's not becoming a burden to somebody who didn't deserve it, you know? I think that is pretty much what I have to say on that situation. But I think you have such a good thing that is happening to you right now that you should just embrace it with positivity, and you should really be thankful and just focus on the good. And you know what, if something, God forbid, knock on wood, you know, if something happens with this guy down the road, that's okay too, because you know that you moved with pure intentions, you know that you're a good person, and if he fucks that up, that's on him. And there is 8 billion people in this world. Do not trip off one. All right, next one says, he's a nice guy, but something feels off. I've been seeing him for almost a year. He travels a lot for work and just recently invited me on one of his work trips. I've never been to his place. He always takes me to really nice dinners, but it always ends at a hotel. I want to say something, but I don't feel like he's opening up to me the way that I feel like he should have by now. My gut says that he has a wife or maybe a significant other. It's killing me not knowing, but I also don't want to move forward if he's not being honest. Girl, I ain't even finna put my laptop down because this is gonna be real short and sweet, okay? That man is married, or that man has a girlfriend, or that man has no intention on doing anything serious with you. All you are is a little bit of fun. Y'all ain't been dating for a year. I can tell you that right now. Y'all have not been dating for a year. What he's been doing is spending time with you when it's convenient for him for a year, while he's also spending time with other people. I can guarantee it. Take it from somebody who was an unknown mistress for 2.5 years. Why? How, do you ask? How could that be possible? Yes, I know. And I tell you what, he was doing a lot more than that, and he was still married. I was at his place. I met his son. I met his family. He was at my place, had a key to my apartment, was involved with my child. I went out for his birthday with his friends and family. I mean, you fucking name it, and I still didn't know I was mistress. So I'm telling you right now, you should have been to his place plenty, okay? It always ends at a hotel, baby girl. Come on now. Why can't we end up at your place? That's weird. A man that values you, a man that wants something with you. Yeah, of course he's inviting you on a work trip. Because it's a work trip. He's out of town for a reason. And he ain't got to worry about nothing. He wants a company there with him while he's working so he can get his wet. Okay? A year? Y'all should have been talking about moving in together a year or a little bit after that. You haven't even seen his place. Sure, he's gonna do all these nice things for you and when he does see you because he wants to keep you around. He wants to make you feel like you're special, but really, he's just making sure that you're pleased while you spend time with him so that he can bullshit you throughout the rest. It's called breadcrumbing, okay? So, it's a version of breadcrumbing, I guess you could say. He is absolutely 1000%. Something is off. You're right. That's your gut. That's your intuition. Cut that off. Move on. If he wants to be, and even if he is single, he's bullshitting with you. He want to bullshit, go bullshit with somebody else. You want something serious, don't take this man serious. Move the fuck on. Let's go on to the next question. All right. I need some input or insight. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years and we live together, me at his place. Growing up, I was never allowed to have friends stay the night, and now living with him, he never lets me have my girlfriends over for the night or stay and visit. I never really had a place to myself growing up, and it's very frustrating because I want to be able to invite my girlfriends to come over and have a girls' night in, nothing crazy, and every time I ask, he always says no regardless of who it is. I don't pay the bills towards the house, but only because he says that I don't have to. I pay my own bills and I'm self-sufficient. When I recently asked him if I could have a girlfriend stay the night over, he said he wouldn't be comfortable with that. And when I asked him out of curiosity why, he said, I don't want to talk about it right now. Any insight as to why a man would be like this and what would your reaction be? I feel like a child who has no self-control of her life and needs permission from her parent. I have yet to express the way that I feel about it to him. Now would not be the time considering we had an argument about something unrelated to this conversation a couple days ago. I got a lot to say about this. Number one, okay. This is why I personally think it is so important to be on your own and have your own place for a period of time in your life before you move in with a man. And actually, I'll take it a step further. I think it's important to have your own place. But then I also think that when you and a man decide to move in together, I think that you should both get a place together. It should be a new thing. We wait till both our leases are up. We go get a place together. That way you're not moving into his space where he feels, and this actually goes both ways, where a person is not moving into the other person's space and they feel almost entitled or in more control than the other person. And again, like you said, you know, with the whole bills being paid, that also plays a part in it. Even though he's telling you like you don't have to pay them, it's like he still it's almost like a subconscious thing. Like he's automatically still gonna feel like he's more in control or should have more control over the situation. It's still his home in his eyes because you came into his place. I think that was a mistake. But obviously, that's not here nor there. You're already living there. We got to move forward, right? Secondly, I think an important part in a relationship is called compromise and boundaries, and we got to know the difference. So you can have boundaries, yes, of course. Everybody's entitled to that, but you also have to compromise. People confuse like thinking that they're compromising too much or think that they're not respecting their boundaries. It's like, it's two different things, y'all. So I think that while he may have boundaries about what he feels comfortable with his place, he has now allowed another person into that space, and he is now creating a one unit life with that person. So it is not all about his boundaries anymore. It's about both of you, and you do have to compromise. I think that just off the sole fact alone of you expressing to him like, hey, like, you know, this was something that I really didn't get to do as a kid, and you know, we're not doing anything crazy. We're grown adults. We just want a night in, you know. There shouldn't be really a problem with him compromising. Now, if this is every other weekend, I could totally see him being like, listen, I don't want that. And that's totally understandable. But as a grown woman who pays her own bills, who is entitled to be able to do things with her life that she chooses, I think that he should be able to compromise a little bit. And I don't think that you should be allowing him to not only control it completely and just say no, but then also not even give you like a valid reason. Like, if you're gonna tell me no as a grown adult, then you're gonna at least explain to me why this is something you don't feel comfortable compromising on. That is just basic communication in a relationship. Because if he's gonna say no to that, then what's to tell you that he's not gonna say no to B, C, and D? You know what I mean? So that's definitely kind of a red flag in my opinion. I don't think that that's respectful to just flat out, because I mean, you said it. It's like, that's how you act towards a child. So yeah, I don't think that that's right. And then just as my own opinion, I guess you could say, I don't understand why a man wouldn't want his woman to be safe in the house with whoever she wants to be with. You know, now if you're being obnoxious and loud and trashing the place, and he's got to be up in the morning, and you know, there's different factors that go into it, right? There's always got to be a respect level even with that. But that just kind of baffles me, because I would think that he would feel more comfortable with you wanting to have someone in the home and just stay and have a night in versus being out clubbing, partying, going to the bars, you know, whatever the case may be. And then on top of that as well, if he doesn't want to be there or be a part of it, he can easily go to a friend's house himself, or he can go into his bedroom, or, you know, there's different options. Maybe he can go visit a family member, or I don't even think it should be to that level. I think that you guys should be able to handle it in a more mature way. But if he's going to make that big of a deal of it, you know, there's different things that he can do if he just doesn't want to be around it. I think in this situation, you kind of got to stand up for yourself, and you got to put your foot down and let him know that, listen, you know, we are a couple. You're not my parent. And I will say this. I am a submissive when it comes to a man. I know how to let a man lead. I know how to be submissive. I know how to be in my femininity. So it's not like I don't know how to let a man lead or what a man should control and shouldn't. But there's a difference between leading and controlling. And the right man that respects and loves you and cares about what your childhood was like and cares about these things that your inner child kind of yearns for, and the nostalgia of it, and just wanting to have that little experience in your life. The right man that loves and cares about you is going to not take advantage of that leadership role and that control. We only have one life, right? You got to make the most of that life. You got to do as much as you can in that life. And I think that the right man that really loves you and respects you is going to let you have that little bit of nostalgia. So that is my advice on that one. I think that will be all for this episode. If you guys have any other advice questions you want to send in, you can send it to the email textttomyex@yahoo.com. I would be happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm super excited for the future episodes that have to do with this. And come back for my next Text to My Ex.